Jesus Christ.
It's so easy.
How'd you get...
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my late night movie review, horror review. And tonight we're looking at a fantastic witchcraft film called The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Now this is quite a recent film, it's come out over the last recent years, great cast, it's got the amazing Brian Cox in it, which is fantastic. The story is a bit of a strange one. It's about it's about father and son, and the film sort of starts off. We start off at a crime scene where we see like all these different sort of corpses that are being sort of killed in a vicious sort of like attack, maybe a home robbery or something like that. Bring this down slightly, guys. There we go. And we see all these sort of bodies that have been sort of shot up, and they find another body in the cellar buried in the ground, and this is the body of a woman. This is Jane Doe, and she is just seems to be her body that seems to be not touched. It just seems she just seems dead, but you know there's no injury to her or anything. Then we cut to the father and son at the they both work at a morgue, a mortuary, and sort of like so their father and son business, and we see them busy in the mortuary part of the morgue where they've been doing like autopsies on this burnt up sort of body, and they're going through. They like to play sort of detective with their job and try and figure out what's caused the death, how they've died, and all this sort of thing. and they sort of like almost well make a game of it, where they both sort of have their own sort of like opinions of what killed him. In this case, for this burnt body, the son believes that he's died from the fire, but the dad, who's obviously got a lot more experience, has noticed something else. What's wrong with the body, and said no, this was the cause of death. The burnt body happened after it dead. Anyway, so the son was sort of like sort of mumbling to himself, you know, he got it wrong again, and then he puts the body away into the morgue part where they store the bodies in the sort of like sort of kind of vast sort of fridge containers. So he puts the body away, and then he tells his dad he's got to go out to meet his girlfriend. And so his dad sort of says, what you're doing, instead of going to the movies and all this kind of thing. And then they start talking about his mother, because his mother's dead. So he's got this close connection with his dad since his mother's died. And they're working together in this sort of like, in the mortuary. And then the dad goes, well, can you clear up? And so he goes off and leaves the lad to sort of clear up. And the lad starts hearing these sort of noises around the place, sort of investigates and sort of things like that. And you may have seen the clip there where the jump scare was actually the girlfriend that had turned up. Anyway, they're on their way out to go to the cinema. And as they're getting in the lift from the mortuary bit, the lift door opens and the police officer's there from the actual scene of the murder scene, the crime scene at the beginning of the film, and where they found Jane Doe's body. And he's actually brought Jane Doe's body to the mortuary. And so he takes it right through to the dad. And so the lad says to Dad, you want me to stay and help? And he goes, no, you two go on out. So they start to head up, and he's obviously trying to persuade her that he needs to stay with his dad and help, you know, with this new body to sort of like see what they can do. And so she reluctantly lets him do it. Said she will return later on about 11 o'clock. So the police officer is, and the and the father are both looking at the body, thinking, you know, and he's telling about how they found it in the circumstances of all these dead bodies, and they found her just sort of buried in there. They don't know nothing about her, no ID or anything, apart from her name is Jane Doe. Anyway, then the son turns up in the room and says, well, I've stayed now, I'll help. So the police officer goes off, and then the two start their autopsy. And they start off by doing an investigation of, like, the body, like the outside. And the father sees that the wrists and the ankles are both broken. But there's no bruising or no injury or anything like this. Really, really strange. And they find other sort of things that are really bizarre, like her eyes have gone grey, and there's some bizarre dirt underneath her fingernails, which isn't mud, it's actually peat. He said, which you don't really find it in the ground, only in like the stuff that you can sort of buy. So now they're thinking that maybe someone sort of killed her and buried her. And then they find out that they open her mouth, and they find that her tongue's been cut out. So her tongue's actually been cut out as well. So it's all rather strange, all these sort of bizarre things. So then they go to the second part of the autopsy, where they open her chest to investigate her liver and her kidneys and her heart and everything. And then they find that her lungs are all burnt up, like it's been in the fire, but there's no sign of burning on the outside of the body. Her outside body skin is all perfect. And then they find that the heart is, all these sort of things have got like scars, like it's been sewn together. And her other part of their bodies, like her kidneys and that, have all got like these scars on them. So then they investigate that her intestines and stomach, and they find like a poisonous sort of plant in there. And they find a rag in there with a tooth in it. And the rag has got like a sort of witchcraft sort of symbolization on it. So all this sort of strange stuff sort of going on, and they don't know what it is that's killed her. And then all sort of strange stuff starts going on within the mortuary. Their pet cat that they've got there, they find it being mutilated and killed. And they start seeing noises, and the lads start seeing strange silhouettes of someone walking around, and all this kind of really strange, bizarre things going on. And then the father also starts seeing the same sort of illusions. And that's all I'm going to tell you. So what on earth is going on? The mortuary was perfectly normal until they brought the body of Jane Doe into there. So what is this all about? Who is she? Is it something to do with witchcraft? Like I said, inside the stomach they found this cloth with a witchcraft kind of symbol on it. Why? What's going on? What's this strange silhouette figure the guy's seen, and why all these strange things happening, like doors opening that have been shut and locked, and why, you know, and who's killed the cat? You have to watch it and find out. What do I think of Autopsy of Jane Doe? It's an absolutely incredible film. I saw this years ago, but I re-picked it up recently because I've not seen it for a long time, and I saw it online for a really cheap price, like about £5. So I thought, well, I'll pick it up and give it another re-watch, because I've not seen it for a number of years now, and it's still amazing today. Really, really cool. It's one of those horror films that's sort of set in one environment, like at the morgue, the mortuary, but it is so scary and full of atmosphere, lots of jump scares, and you know, and there's some sort of autopsy scenes, and not too gross or grotesque. It's done in a really tasteful way, but it's absolutely terrifying in some places. And as the story unfolds, it becomes a really chilling tale. Absolutely amazing. The pluses of this version, the transfer is fantastic. It looks amazing. The acting is top notch. Brian Cox is an amazing actor. So it's fantastic to see him in this great horror film. And all the cast are really cool. The guy's girlfriend, the police officer, all played brilliant parts. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's a really eerie, atmospheric film. The negatives of the film, I just wish it was a little bit longer. I think it could have gone on just a bit longer with some more slower pace, sort of scary. Things tend to move quite quick in the film, and it's like quite eventful. I would have liked sort of a little bit less, because I think sometimes less is more. It makes it a bit more terrifying, but it doesn't take it away from being an amazing film. Absolutely really cool. So I'm going to score the film an amazing watch and give that a 9 out of 10. It's absolutely fantastic. It would have got a 10 out of 10 if it was just paced better for my taste. I like it a bit more slower. When it's films around witchcraft and um, unexplainable supernatural things, I like it to be slowed down, not too much going on. I like a little obvious sort of indicators, but then they're not so obvious. I like that sort of thing, and this is sort of like paces through and you can sort of see what's going to happen, which is still cool. But it's an amazing film. Autopsy of Jane Doe, 9 out of 10. Highly recommend it if you've never seen it. Fantastic horror movie. Any of you guys actually seen the movie? If you have, let me know down below what you think of it. It's just a really cool film, and it was just such a treat to watch it again after all this time. And I absolutely loved every minute of watching it. It's been a busy old month this month with horror. Me and my lad went to the Horror Con. As you may well see, I've got my new posters up on the wall. We had a fantastic time there. We met some fantastic people, and my lad got to meet a few film stars and got his film signed. So we had a great time. So to top this month off watching some great horrors, it just makes it all amazing. Anyway, I hope you're all having a really cool time. Next week, next Sunday, I'll be trying to do my monthly late night horror show. And I'll talk a bit more about the Horror Con and stuff in there, or maybe some unboxings or some reviews in there, and we'll do that for the next Sunday. But this one is about this film. Until your next video, guys, check out some horror channels for me. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzlewell, I Am the Ice Lord, Sarah of Horror, Cat Watches Horror, Grumpy Andrews, Haunted House, and a big shout out to my lad Lemon Lord, who's turning into a horror freak, which is fantastic. Until next time, guys, look after yourself, don't have nightmares, and I really hope I see you all soon.